Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast, it's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic, you can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com, or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
It's here, the season's happiest surprise.
That's a relief.
A movie as achingly funny as A Fish Called Wanda.
I think it's a lot more exciting than that.
Bill Murray is brilliant.
I suppose you don't believe that either.
He'll tickle you half to death.
This guy's too wonderful.
Quick Change, now on video cassette.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Dude, no! Oh!
Oh boy. And I'll tell you, we need to redo the opening of our show. Are you there, Wilson? Mr. Wilson! Oh, technical difficulties already.
Oh, I have to unmute it because you made me mute it because I was talking.
I don't make you do anything.
Yeah. Why do we have to update the opening of the show?
It's only because it's not an HD, and
it's
all compressed inside of an HD, like a 1280 by 720 or 1080p. So it's just now we actually have a real streaming software.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have software that this is like the real deal, and you could see all of its ugly flaws in our videos, because when we made them, HD existed, but we weren't really concerned with resolution and size, and now we really need to have it in 720 or 1080p. And
I'll just have to acquire a video editing software program of your choosing for me to create new videos with.
That sounds fine. I mean, you still use the Windows, the one that's built into Windows. We just have to make sure it outputs to 720 or 1080. Just
to clarify, that was not made on the Windows Movie Magic or whatever the fuck that's called.
Oh, it was not. Okay.
It was not, but
I thought it was.
I'm not saying it was the best software, but it was the next step up.
Okay.
But that we'll be working on that, along with many other things in the months to come.
That's right.
So, welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Yeehaw! Welcome to Moviesucktastic. I'm Scott, and the other guy's Joey.
Hi. I'm not seeing any video of you again.
What? What the fuck? Come on, pay attention, man.
Oh, there we go.
How about now?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeehaw! There you go.
Unfortunately, there's something weird with the video yet again.
Oh.
No. It's just I can see video of you, but Skype, there's got to be a way, man. There has to be a way.
We're working on it. Trial and error. We're working on it.
Well, basically, I have like a giant box of you for video in the corner. So
I deserve nothing less.
I guess so. I'll go on board with that. It's the viewer video, and then above your video says Skype with our logo, and it's just dead space. But it's not a big deal because we don't show the movies in the background anymore because YouTube literally bends us over.
Because fuck YouTube. All right, but
we are streaming live right now, and I am streaming us in 1080p, and it's using 17% of my CPU. Whereas,
nice. Then you can keep an eye on the chat room in YouTube because I'm still on wireless at my house, and I don't want to risk the bandwidth.
Oh, I'm getting gigabit next week.
Okay.
I'm getting okay. What speed do you have in your house?
It's fast.
How fast?
But I'm
just curious.
It's like 50 gig, like download.
50 meg, probably megabit.
You know what I mean.
I'm getting 940 next week.
Yeah, that's why you could monitor the chat room. That's all I'm saying. There.
I am so fucking giddy.
You know what? Right now I'm having no problems at all with my wireless, which is why I'm not dropping the cash to have the Ethernet hardwired. But
just run it yourself.
I don't want to stretch it thin. Yeah, I'll fly you down for that. How about that?
It sounds like that's what's going to have to happen.
That's pretty much, yeah.
Well, when I come down, just make sure you have Ethernet on hand, and if not, we'll go buy some.
Can do.
And we will run you an Ethernet cable.
Well, we will run that shit.
Yeah, and that shit will, the running is going to take the most time. Just putting it in your wall and crimping it down is not going to take
running always takes me the most time, but
Well.
Anyway, yippee-ki-yay.
Motherfucker.
Joey's coming to you from the great state of New Jersey, and I'm coming to you from the creator state of Texas, and which is now a new thing. And today we're going to be reviewing a good film for a change, which is boring. Quick change.
It is boring, and I rewatched this film today, and it was such an easy watch.
Oh,
it's
hard.
Yeah, it's
so hard to review a good film.
I know. I mean, I think what we can talk about is everything we like about it, because I have very few things that I don't like about it. I mean, there are a couple of things where it's like, oh yeah, would that really happen?
That's suspension of disbelief. Who cares about that?
There's just a little like continuity stuff, just like little things, like when and it's not that big a deal, but again, this is one of those things that they write it in the script, they act it out, and then like for instance, the scene I'm actually talking about is when Bill Murray goes to get change in the convenience store, and the bus driver says, "You've got a minute and 42 seconds, and then I'm leaving." And that scene literally is like 5 or 6 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And then when he's like 56 seconds, and then literally 2 or 3 minutes has gone by, and he's like 26 seconds.
Well, because the film, we're not watching 48 hours.
No, I know.
Or 24 hours. Or 24, sorry. 48 hours.
I think you're thinking 126?
No, 24. The TV show.
The TV show, sure. Okay.
Hey, you're thinking 127. No one's cutting their hand off in this film. No. It's totally different. So the one thing I can bring to the table that's a little bit different from other movie review shows, I think, is that this movie was based on a book by Jay Cronley, who also wrote the books That Funny Farm and Let It Ride were based on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Cool. And actually, Quick Change is the second time that the book was made into a film. The title of the book was Quick Change, but the original film that was an adaptation of the book was the 1985 Italian film Hold Up, featuring what the fuck is his name? Belmondo something, some Italian guy that everyone loves, and John Paul Belmondo.
Why is that a knock?
It's not. It's just he's just like a popular Italian film guy, so he's not that good. And
wow.
No, John Paul Belmondo. So the Italian version was called the translation is Hold Up, okay. And that was the first movie that was based on the book. I have a copy of Hold Up. I haven't watched it, but I have read the novel that Quick Change was adapted from. And from what I can tell from the trailer of Hold Up, the American film Quick Change is much closer to the novel, even though there are some differences, and I'll talk briefly about them later on in the show.
Okay. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but
Truly.
Well, you have a challenge for me later?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. But how come you almost never come to the show prepared with my challenge?
Dude, I am fucking always prepared, but I float free on the wind like a feather.
Oh, shut up.
I am a leaf in the wind. Watch me soar.
And then we all know how what happened after that.
Right. Dude, I might just be spiteful and say Paranormal Activity 3. Watch it.
Oh, there's no connection, so it doesn't count.
I will think of one.
Does it take place in New York City?
No.
There is probably like 10 I Hate New York movies you could challenge me on just based on,
in a fucking heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Just based on Grimm's just disdain for New York City in this movie.
Yeah.
Easily, you could give me an I Hate New York movie.
I think I even saw that in an interview, Bill Murray had said, New Yorkers will love this film because of how much we hate it in this movie. I'm paraphrasing. That's pretty much what he says. It's like, yeah, New Yorkers will love how we hate the movie. And I was explaining to a young coworker, dude, the age difference is starting to fucking get me. I forget what film it was, but something came up, and I was like,
I just hired a new technician at work, and he's like 10 years younger than me, and it's like, dude.
Oh, I wish I was still dealing with 10 years younger. I'm dealing with like 15 to 20 years younger. This guy that I work with, I forget what the film was, but he says like, dude, I was 11 when that came out. I was like, fuck you. Oh, seriously, shut up.
Yeah, right.
They pull that on me now. It's like it hurts. There's only one person close to my age working with me now, right, and he's older than me.
Oh, that's not good either.
So he's like, hey, you remember Kojak? I'm like, no, I don't remember Kojak.
Fuck Kojak.
No. I know
him
Kojak
and his stupid fucking parrot.
I know Kojak, but I don't remember it because I was too old for that. I was too old for the shit I was watching when I was.
That was Beretta. Beretta was the one with the parrot, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Kojak was with the lollipop.
Yeah, it was a lollipop, and it was Telly Savalas.
Correct.
And then Beretta.
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby? And then Beretta was what's his face who shot his wife in the restaurant.
Exactly, and got away with it with the I left my gun in my car defense.
Yeah. What an asshole.
Oh, yeah. But I love him. I love him as the blank-faced ghoul in the David Lynch film Lost Highways. So there's always that.
That is true.
That
is true.
And he played a good asshole in Money Train. I'll give him that too.
Yeah, that is also true. Money Train.
I know he was in Thin Blue Line, but I've never seen it, and I really don't care to. So we can move on past that.
The Thin Red Line?
No, Thin Blue Line.
There was one.
It's about cops. Okay. Yeah, I believe he was in it. I'm just talking on my ass at this point.
Hey.
Anyway, Jay Cronley, he wrote the book that was Let It Ride was based on, and we loved Let It Ride.
I fucking, it's interesting you mentioned that because not that long ago I had brought up to Scott. I'm like, how is this movie not on Blu-ray yet? Mm-hmm. And another film that I mentioned, how is this movie not on Blu-ray, just got released or is being released on Blu-ray really soon, called Action Mutante.
Action Mutante. Oh, yeah.
Mutant Action, which is the American translation.
Which a clip of it is in our opening sequence that you might have seen.
A couple of scenes are in our opening from that.
That's true. Yes, yes.
So it's a matter of time. I never thought, Action Mutante would get a Blu-ray release, but there it is. It's coming, and it looks fucking amazing.
Now, I want to briefly mention that I rarely buy DVDs, but this past month I kind of splurged a little bit.
DVDs or Blu-rays?
And so I'm sorry, Blu-rays, now that we're talking. Yeah, now that's the fucking go-to.
Well, yeah.
And I just wanted to mention briefly that of my recent purchases is Shout Factory. They had a sale, and I took advantage of it.
Okay, what'd you buy?
And so I got the limited edition of Bubba Hotep.
Ooh, nice.
And then also the limited edition of something. Motherfucking cat. I got the Assault, not Assault and either They Live or Assault and Precinct 13. I forget which one.
Oh.
I
think the Shout Factory one is with the alternate cover.
well, they all have like their new painted covers, which is one of the appeals. And I actually pre-ordered their metal book copy of Army of Darkness.
Oh, nice.
And I just got in the mail the other day from Severin Films. I don't know the website, but just type in Severin, Severin, and they released a special limited edition copy of Shock Treatment. Not Shock Treatment. Yeah, Shock Treatment.
Shock Treatment.
Yeah, the one with the Vietnam veteran.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a limited edition copy signed by the filmmakers with an actually piece of the film in the book, and it comes with the book, and it's a really nice, limited edition copy. And the only reason I knew about it is because
how can they cut out part of the film? Was there that much available that they could do that, or
it's an original print? It's like 1 inch. You know how many inches are in 1 minute of film?
No, I know, I get that, but
yeah,
I'm just wondering why they even cut it up at all instead of preserving
because
it.
They don't need the original anymore, and like they're selling it for $40 a copy. So
I don't know. It's like preservation seems like a big deal, and to cut up the movie, unless they have multiple copies of it.
We should get them on the show and interview them about that.
I would love to know more about that.
I agree.
So you said it's a limited edition. So how many copies? It must be.
I forget.
Only a few thousand, probably.
I was going to bring it in the show, but I didn't want to mess it up because my hands are sticky with gin. But the only reason I knew the film was available on a limited edition DVD coming out was because Patton Oswalt tweeted about it.
Oh.
And I was like, dude, I'm ordering my copy today. I fucking grew up with this film. Agent Orange babies. What's not to like?
Yeah, right.
Oh, fucking classic underground trash cinema. But I just wanted to bring that up. There's a couple of films that I purchased recently on Blu-ray, and I highly recommend every single thing I mentioned to go to Severin.com. I believe that's the site. And obviously, the one site that you and I plug that we're still trying to get to notice us, shoutfactory.com.
It may never happen.
I mean, not like we're big, we're not big fish, but still, shoutfactory.com has got the shit when it comes to re-releasing great 80s cinema.
Yeah, no, they are on the ball. There are movies that they've released that not that I never thought would come out, but they release them. But they actually give it the HD treatment that it deserves.
But even if it doesn't deserve it, they still give it the HD
Street
treatment.
Trash, for instance.
That deserved it totally.
Probably. Well, okay, I'll agree with
you
that it deserves it. But who expected it to look that good?
Just go back and listen to our episode on the film Street Trash and hear us gush about how beautiful this film about melting hobos looks in HD.
Tenafly Viper.
Half of the movie is just us like, this is so beautiful watching these homeless people melt. It's just like amazing.
Penis football scene has never looked better.
Yeah, right. It's just you can really see the blood in the oxyacetylene decapitation scene. But now we're talking about a film more high class.
A little bit more.
That was, it was a film that was referred to as somebody as.
I like this shot that's on the screen right now, where Bill Murray Grimm he walks by the adult entertainment, and he was like, nude girls, clowns welcome, welcome, nude girls.
I believe one reviewer referenced the film as Dog Day Afternoon meets After Hours.
Yeah, right.
And I love that because After Hours is probably the most underrated Scorsese film made.
And
it's
probably the least known as well.
No, I think Boxcar Bertha is the least known.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Boxcar Bertha is the least known. After Hours is the most underrated. And this film is in my Plex category of one crazy night films.
Okay.
Films that take place all in the course of one night.
Yeah, I love those kind of movies.
Which is a trope too. Sometimes when I'm trying to think of classifications for the Plex, I just go to the TV tropes.
Right.
I just browse the movie and it's like, all right, give me a good time. One crazy night. There's a new category. And I have like 40 films in that category. A lot of films take place just over the course of one night, and really some of the best films.
Yeah, I have to look at that list.
Yeah, but the basic plot of the film and the book is that the characters' names I lost it because I was looking up the fucking
Grimm
Italian film.
is Bill Murray.
Right.
Loomis is Randy Quaid. And Phyllis is Gina Davis.
And from memory, I believe the character names are all the same in the book and the film. And they basically, essentially, they rob a bank.
Yep.
And then in the first act, and the rest of the film is them trying to get out of New York City.
Get out of Dodge, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the ultimate film where, okay, here's a plan, and every single thing happens to make it go wrong in the course of the night.
Literally everything that could go wrong goes wrong.
Pardon me 1 second.
Okay.
If you scratch on the door to come in, I will hurt you.
I was going to fill the gap. I was going to fill the gap there, but that was way more entertaining.
Oh, I apologize.
Don't apologize.
So Bill Murray, who needs no introduction.
None.
This is probably this is in the top 5 favorite films of mine of his.
Oh,
I would say
easily.
This is right up there with Groundhog Day.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that he co-directed it, I don't understand why he hasn't gone and directed more things.
Well, as far as I know, the only reason he co-directed it is because the person that was supposed to direct it, and I forget who that was.
Oh, it's what's his face. I got it. It's right here. Go ahead. Keep talking. I got his name.
Well, he turned it down, and he and the other person that were working on the project said that they didn't trust anybody else to direct it except themselves, and so they both directed it.
Oh, okay. Howard Franklin.
Yeah. So that's the only reason that came about, and this I believe this is also the only film he's ever produced.
Oh, Bill Murray?
Yeah. And the guy that he worked on this film with, the other 2 films he worked on him with are also 2 Bill Murray films I enjoy, Larger Than Life.
Oh, right.
And The Man Who Knew Too Little.
And Larger Than Life is another film that Howard Franklin was involved in.
That's what I just said. He and Howard Franklin.
Yes.
Other films. Okay.
Let's see. As far as producing,
Joey was looking something up, so he didn't hear what I said. So
that is correct. That is absolutely correct. Yeah. Yes, this is the only major film, like theatrical, that Bill Murray's ever produced. Everything else.
Joey didn't trust me on that, so we had to look it up while we were talking, which is why
I actually went in to go see what else Bill Murray has directed, and I figured while I was here, I wanted to see what else he's produced, because he has produced other things, but this is the only film he's produced. So, yeah.
Yeah, so still, it's what he did. But
yeah. And this is the only thing he's ever directed, was Quick Change.
Produced.
It's the only film. Oh my God. Why are we still talking about this?
I know.
I can read off all the other things. I can read off all the other things he's produced. Quick Change is one of them. But as far as directing, Quick Change is the only thing he's ever directed.
Really? Is he produced any other films?
TV movies. Or
that's not a TV films.
Movie. A Very Merry Christmas. He was produced.
That's not that was fucking annoying.
Extra Innings TV series and
so everything I said before was still fact.
Pretty much.
Well, we can move on from there.
Let's move on.
So it's a hilarious cavalcade of missteps and errors, and it follows the book very closely.
Now
I do recommend.
You've read the book, so you know it firsthand.
Oh yeah, beginning to end. Yes, yeah, it's a great, and I enjoyed the book. Don't get me wrong, but ironically, I'm also right now in the middle of finally finishing. All right, I'm 2/3 of the way through finally finishing the book that the film Digstown was based on, the Digstown Ringers.
Oh really?
Right, and I honestly both that book and the original Quick Change book, I have to say the films are better. Now, the only reason I say that about Quick Change is that I do not like the end of the book.
Of Quick Change?
Yes, correct.
Oh.
We're not talking Digstown at this point.
Okay, so would it be any kind of... Would you want to release the ending of the book? Or would you rather hold it off?
What I'm going to say is that, mild spoiler alert for Quick Change, both the book and the film, is that the film is a generally happy ending.
Yeah. The
book is a generally unhappy ending.
Get out, really?
And when I say unhappy, what I mean is there's a theme in crime humor novels where the bad guys humorously fail and are forced to go back to their lives of misdeeds. And the original novel follows in that vein. Now, because I grew up with the movie, I find the ending of the book unpleasing.
I would too.
And mean.
Yeah.
Mean in a way. There are certain parts of the book that I find were very funny, but I don't know how they would have translated it into film and saved time. And I think the most important part is the airport sequence when they try to get on the plane is extended by multiple chapters in the book because the plane is overbooked by 10 people. And so the airline people hold a raffle to decide who gets on the plane.
Oh.
And it's dragged out so long, but it's so fucking funny. And I would say the big difference in the movie, between the movie and the book as far as character goes, would be Randy Quaid's character of Loomis. Because in the book, he's still goofy, but he's also...
more with it.
He's also more... I don't want to say violent, but he's also more of a heavy. Like, he's not as witless or naive. I mean, he still does a lot of goofy stuff, but he's got an edge to him.
Okay.
I
could see how they could have had Randy Quaid do that.
Oh yeah, and I see the reason why too, because they wanted to direct all the sharp humor towards Bill Murray, not Bruce Willis, and I see why they did that. I mean, if you read the book and you watch the movie and you understand that there are two different mediums in any situation, you can understand why they have to change things. And I think everything they change for quick change makes sense. A lot of the dialogue is close to the book or spot on. And whatever they did change, they had to because the tone changes in the film. Also, the character
Jason Robards.
Thank you, Agent Robards. And that actor is...
Rod Sticker. Jason Robards played Rod Sticker.
Right. That character is less of a good guy in the book, but they play him up more in the movie as a sympathetic character because this is the kind of film where the good guys aren't the good guys are bad guys, but they're not really bad guys. So in the book, they make the supposed good guy, which is Stickler or whatever his name just gave me.
Rotzinger.
In the book, he's more of a bad guy that's supposed to be a good guy. But the movie's like, yeah, he's still a good guy, because the real bad guy is the bad guy.
Right. Okay.
You have levels of anti-hero all throughout the film.
Got it.
Okay. But the book's a bit more. The book is more like everybody against the heroes of the book, which is interesting since they loses at they lose at the fucking end. But that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, well, as far as the film goes, it came out in the summer. It was a summer release. It came out July of 1990. And that 1990 was the summer of sequels, and it came out the same weekend as Ghost.
Aren't they all?
Well,
back then it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worse now. But 1990 is specifically in my memory because there were so many sequels in 1990 that summer that it was just like you had Die Hard 2 and Gremlins 2, and you had off the top of my head I can't think of the other ones, but there were a lot of sequels in spring and summer of 1990. It was quite a bit. It was a summer where they had so many. It was not the norm as far as sequels went. Usually,
right. And back then it was a big thing. Yeah.
So this came out in July of 1990, and it really had no chance. I think they thought they had a better shot, but then Ghost comes out of nowhere and is like the biggest film of the year. I mean, it made more money than Total Recall, which was perceived to be the big film of 1990, and it wasn't.
Sometimes they release these films in the summer, and you think, what the fuck are you thinking? This is not a blockbuster film.
Right.
Like UHF.
Yeah.
UHF, like, oh, it's a summer film. So what are you, fucking kidding? You just doomed this movie. You doomed it. Really.
UHF is like it would have probably been like a good February, March release.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
We just watched a movie trailer recently, and in the minute like January came up, we're like, no, and I can't remember what it is now.
Oh, I know what it is. Because I saw it too, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, January, and then I realized oh God, now I gotta look. I'll look it up real quick. I'll find out, but I'm pretty sure they're doing it on purpose because that director or that actor has had some movies come out in January that were successful. So I don't think it's being released in January because the studios have no faith. I think it's being released because it made money, or the previous actor's film made money in January.
See, now I need to know.
Now I'm gonna tell you. There's a new trailer for Venom, by the way.
I can't even be bothered. Honestly, as I still don't understand why they decided that
it's
Spider-Man.
Glass is coming out in January.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're watching the trailer. Like, oh, this is gonna be fucking awesome. It's like this January. No.
And the reason why it's coming out in January is because M. Night's last film, Split, which ties into this storyline, came out in January and was very successful.
And also my former co-writer in screenplays. Was a script supervisor on Glass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was actually in Pennsylvania, and the entire time he was there, we tried to get together, and he was so busy. He was like, "Oh, we never made it." But he was script supervisor on that, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Definitely.
I never saw Split because apparently that ties.
Same year.
It ties into the storyline, and I'm like, I didn't even know that. When I saw this trailer, I was like, "What the fuck?"
And that's great because I was watching the trailer with my wife, and then she's like, "Oh, it's interesting." I said, "Yeah." And that film, the other characters from the film Split that came out last year, I've got it on the Plex. She's like, "Oh, we have to see that." I'm like, "Great," because if we hadn't seen this trailer, I never would have fucking got her to watch it. So, finally.
Well, and the thing is, too, when I saw the trailer for Glass when it first started, I'm like, "This is a joke, right?" It's like, there's no way this is real. Because they show James McAvoy, his character, and then they show Sam Jackson, and then Bruce Willis. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I realized, then I got excited. I'm like, holy shit, they're actually making a movie out of this?
And like, as the trailer goes, you realize that they actually show more of like Bruce Willis playing the hero.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is going to be fucking good. Although I was kind of lamenting to my coworkers the other day, now that I have people I can talk to, was that like Bruce Willis, as much as I love Bruce Willis, like some of his more recent, he's getting older.
Yes, he is.
And like, so like his last couple action films, I'm watching them and I pay attention to him, like, yeah, you're kind of walking through this, you know?
Yeah, like
there's a
Death Wish.
There's a reason why he's got a hood over his head most of the scenes in Death Wish.
Like,
because he's not doing his own fucking stunts anymore. He's too old for that shit.
I think he's doing some, and he's hurting himself, so he's doing less.
And then ironically,
like he was on either Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, and he showed up to promote the film in a sling.
Well, then like I'm watching the trailer for Glass. Like, oh yeah, so they went back to the character of his where he wears the hood whenever he does superhero stuff. Okay, yeah, you're getting old.
Yeah.
And I actually said, and it surprised me. The words came out of my mouth, and I was like, "Did I just say that?" It's like I'm looking forward to when they finally reboot Die Hard with a new actor. And I was like, "Who the fuck said that?" Oh, it was me.
Oh.
Honestly, I was like, "Yeah, I would love to see them like just like start from the beginning again with Nakatomi,
right?
But like redo it modern day with like bigger CGI effects and a new young actor that can do the next film.
Smart technology, which is where we're at in this time.
It's just don't do a fucking TV show like Taken or Jack Ryan. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Reboot the movie series.
I think as long as Bruce Willis is alive, they're just always gonna go to Bruce Willis.
But he can cameo like fucking Harrison Ford. Okay, let's be straight here. And the only reason why
too much of an ego for that. I think if they did it in such a way where he kind of hands it off to somebody new, where he's in the movie but then hands it off.
There's going to be a point where there's going to be a point where he's just pulling a Steven Seagal and walking through his action films, and no one's going to stand for that. I'm sorry. The only reason he gets a pass on Death Wish, because Death Wish traditionally with Bronson was supposed to be an older character. You know, the older father with, you know, it was like, oh, a middle-aged father loses everything.
Bronson did Death Wish into his 70s, so.
Well, I mean, when he started, he was younger. But
he was in his late 40s, early 50s.
Right. Yeah, it still didn't stop him from wearing a Speedo in the opening scene.
Hey, if I look that good at 50, I'm going to be happy.
If you wear a Speedo, I'll be happy. But that's besides the point. The Bruce Willis gets a pat on. You don't have to comment on that. You can just let that slide. Bruce Willis gets a pat on that because of the time frame.
It was a visual.
And honestly, I'm going to keep going. And Death Wish wasn't that bad. I'd love to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, if it comes up in a challenge in some way.
Sure. But
I mean, we're talking about everything but quick change.
Well, you're the one that branched off.
I know, and you know what? It's what we said. It's basically what you said, and I completely agree with.
I told my wife.
It's hard to review.
I told my wife. I said, Joey challenged me to quick change. Why the fuck does he always challenge me to good films?
I don't always challenge you to good movies.
No, but you're the only one that does. I don't challenge you to good films. I'm always like, all right, let's do this one because it'll be fun. It's like, what's the fun in talking about a film where everything is like, oh, I love this part. Yeah, what the fuck is who I? You know,
listen,
anybody can do that.
I'm trying to keep within the vein of the challenge, and the woman on the street corner with the flowers for the dead, the muertos. It's just like it just reminded me of Martine in Paranormal Activity 2.
And that's the only film with a Spanish maid we could have referenced, right?
Yeah.
Also, that character, by the way, is an homage to A Streetcar Named Desire. So
yeah. So there you
go. I don't know what the fuck that's about.
I don't know, but it just I couldn't stop thinking about this film. I don't know what else I would have challenged you to.
I don't know either.
It would have just been another shitty horror film, and I thought we could.
I would have been fine with Paranormal Activity 3.
No, that's not happening.
You think?
No, it's not. Well, I mean,
really? What if I challenge you to that? What are you going to say?
And you know what? Let's not get.
What are you going to do?
Let's not get.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to watch the movie. That's what I'm going to do.
No, that's right. You will.
But let's not get redundant, okay? Listen, like I said, there's like at least 10 I Hate New York films right off the bat.
You are correct, sir.
So we should go in that direction if you really want.
Oh, so now you're telling me what the challenge is. Is that what it is now?
I'm not. I'm saying, but we can go in that direction if you have a hard time picking a challenge. I'll even give you one.
No,
like off the top of my head, dude, I could give you one.
Between New York, Heist, and Clowns, there's no end to the films I could challenge you to. That's just like a fucking.
Had we not done Death Wish, it would have been a perfect transition into a review of the original Death Wish.
Now let's talk about the other. We mentioned Bruce Willis and we mentioned Nicholas.
I kill rich cunts.
No, we mentioned Bill Murray.
Mother's getting the shit knocked out of her.
All right, come on. All right, let's back up.
All right.
We mentioned Randy Quaid, we mentioned Bill Murray, but Gina Davis. This is one of my more likable films of hers. I'm not a huge fan of hers.
Long Kiss Goodnight is the only other one that really comes to mind.
That's the top of my Gina Davis list.
Yeah.
Quick Change is like number 2. I can't think of a number 3 off the top of my head.
She's acceptable in Beetlejuice.
She's okay. Yeah, Beetlejuice would be number 3, I think. But I'm not a fan of hers. But when I like,
what's the Woody Allen film she got the Oscar for? She was okay in that. The other sister? Is that what it's? The Good Sister? Is that what that was?
The Good Sister?
She won an Oscar for a Woody Allen film.
I didn't care for her in The Fly.
No, she was a kind of background.
She was like she was just filling in the gaps in between half naked Steve Guttenberg. Thank you very much.
My wife would immediately tell you Earth Girls Are Easy is her favorite Gina Davis film.
Oh, fuck that noise. Might as well say Cutthroat Island at that point.
But it's just a film she grew up with. So
Hero was she was the least good thing in that film. Thelma and Louise, I don't give a shit. Accidental Tourist.
Is that the one she got the Oscar for? I might be thinking of that.
Probably. I would assume Accidental Tourist. That's the most Oscar-worthy film she's ever been in. I'll be honest.
Yes, Gina Davis for The Accidental Tourist.
Yeah, honestly,
best actress in a supporting role.
Yeah, no, I'm going to stick with the 3 films I listed as my favorite 3 Gina Davis films. Everything else, I'm like, she's not bad, but Yeah, oh, great, she's an archer. I don't care.
Archer.
No, she is, yeah. She's a professional archer.
Oh, that's right. She was in Fletch. That's right.
Uh-huh.
First film she ever did was Tootsie. Again.
She does the bow and arrow thing.
Yeah. Yes, she I think she almost qualified for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Or if she did and got knocked out, but she's actually pretty skilled in it, surprisingly.
She's like the poor man's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. A League of Their Own. My wife loves that movie.
Holly made me watch it, and
I like
it.
Tom Hanks is the only thing I really enjoy in that.
It wasn't bad. Tom Hanks, fucking, you know what? Like, for some reason, I kept flashing back to Tom Hanks today.
Oh,
it's
really?
like, I love when he yells.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the film? Nothing in Common.
With Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason plays his father. Yeah. There's that one scene near the end where the one, like, the guy's like telling him he has to go, ignore his sick father and fly over, and like he just like yells at him, "Hey, don't you ever fucking touch me again!" I remember I was like 13 when I watched that film. And I was like, yeah. It's like it's
get on board.
You could put like a clip of like films where he snaps, and scenes
Joe
where he
versus
snaps.
the volcano.
Films.
I should kill you.
Yeah. like gold in my hand, and like all the times he yells, you could put them against Pacino films where he yells, because Pacino always has that
Yeah, I know.
He's known for like, hoo-ah!
He's got a great ass.
Right, but
Pacino
I was thinking,
his career that way. He started his career low key, and
exactly, and the same thing. Yeah. And the same thing with Tom Hanks. And Tom Hanks is like kind of like, he keeps winning Oscars for films where he's like quiet and emotes. But if you go back through all his films, he has just as many yelling scenes as Pacino. And he never gets the credit for being loud like Pacino.
I never really thought of it that way. I like that.
I mean, Hanks goes high and low. He and when he goes high, his voice kind of cracks a little
bit.
Yeah,
Hooch.
and it's
Hooch.
Oh, please don't bring up Turner and Hooch. Jesus Christ. That's like one of my least favorite Tom Hanks films.
Yeah, and the ending is the ending is the ending, so.
Well, who cares? Spoiler alert, the dog dies.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, if that bothers you, watch Marley and Me. That's a much different outcome.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Fuck pet owners. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
says the guy with like 4 cats, a dog, and 2 ferrets.
Yeah, you have like 7 times as many pets as I do.
Yeah, but not intentionally.
That's.
I inherited all of them.
Still not good though.
I inherited all of them. Let's be fair. And I still feed them when I have to. So.
Well, that's good.
That's big of me.
I have a dog, and the kids have a hamster. And the hamster.
When they get a hamster?
2 months.
Oh, that's gonna fucking die soon. You know that, right?
2 months ago. I can tell that Danny's not gonna really care, and Sebastian is, because Danny, he's just very much like, oh, here's a dog, nice doggy, pets the doggy, and he's just like, I'm gonna go play Minecraft. And Danny is very compassionate towards other kids, like his cousins. They're younger than him. They're like 2 and 1, or I'm sorry, 3 and 2. Absolutely loves them, protective of them, is like that. Sebastian, on the other hand, doesn't really, not that he doesn't love his cousins. He does, but he loves animals. He's very compassionate towards animals. So when this hamster dies, Sebastian is going to be just sad, and Danny's going to be like, whatever.
If it was a guinea pig, you'd have a year or 2, but hamster, yeah, that's happening soon.
I think hamster's got a couple of years on them.
Yeah. Anyway.
We've only had them a couple of months, so.
So besides Gina Davis, as you mentioned, Jason Robards.
Yeah, which he was making films like the year before he did Parents. He did that film, and he was doing like films like this. This was kind of like it became movies in his wheelhouse. And
then you have Stanley Tucci,
very young Stanley Tucci.
right? Fucking then Kurtwood Smith, Red from That '70s Show,
Oh, that's right.
or Mr. RoboCop himself. Let's put it in perspective. And then Tony Shalhoub is the cab driver.
Where the hadu?
There is a lot of top level fucking talent in this film.
There is a lot.
Really, and they all came together under the unification that New York City sucks balls.
Yeah.
I mean, I was explaining to the coworker at work. I said, "You're too young to realize this, but there was a point where when films were made about New York City, they were made emphasizing that New York City is a shitty place to be."
Yeah, especially at this point in time.
Right.
Just with the porn on every corner, liquor stores on every corner, like crime, like every year getting worse.
Well, and I tried to explain to him. So what happened was Rudy Giuliani became mayor, and he did two things. One, he quote unquote cleaned up Times Square by making all the porno shops put a Disney facade on the front so you couldn't tell which ones were the porno shops. And two, he took a stranglehold of the New York Film Commission, and made sure that any company that wanted to film in New York City did so under the stipulation that it turned it into a fucking advertising brochure for tourists to visit the city. That's why your remake of The Out-of-Towners, which was a film about how shitty New York City was, the remake ends with, "Oh look, it's a beautiful city, and we're watching an opera, and John Cleese is in drag." The whole thing took place in the late '90s, and Quick Change is one of the last of the I Hate New York films.
It really is one of the very last.
Yeah,
because Giuliani was doing all this in mid to late '90s. So, yep.
And I've mentioned it before. If you go back
and everything that he did worked. You go to New York City right now, and if you just go to Times Square and that general, like I'd say 3 mile radius, all for tourists. I mean, you could still end up in the wrong part of town and just get fucked up. But if you go into Times Square is a tourist haven at this point. It's clean. It runs like clockwork, and you could absolutely go. You could go there right now, and it's wall to wall people. It has become that way.
And who wants that?
I remember going to New York City with all of you guys. Like, we would all go, and you'd see prostitutes just walking around like it wasn't a big deal. And
it really wasn't.
It really wasn't. But you would see them everywhere. And when Giuliani took over, and he cleaned a lot of that up.
Well, quote unquote cleaned it up. What he did was they started arresting everybody that performed even minor infraction, like the window washers, homeless people that would wash your windows.
Oh, yeah.
They started arresting. There's just arrest them, and then they solved the homeless problem by kicking them out of the city.
Oh, yeah.
They was like, "Oh yeah, it's illegal to be homeless in the city now, so you just have to go to Pennsylvania or wherever, New York State, because we don't want you here."
Hop on a
That's
train.
all he did. Yeah, it was like, "Yeah, you're illegal now, so we're going to either arrest you or kick your ass out."
There's still a huge homeless problem in New York, so it only lasted for a little while.
Right, because that only lasts as long as you can force them out, and then there's a certain point where you have to stop because the prisons are full, and you can't really keep on arresting homeless people because that's not what we fucking do in a civilized society.
We did for a little while.
Well, a little while, yeah, but that's the same time that he's backing up people for, "Oh yeah, we shouldn't have museums gaining public funds when they have a manure Madonna." It's like, fuck you, Mister. I'm cheating on my wife. It's like and publicly, fuck you, Mr. Morals. Lord Combe-Over comes around and defends Trump.
Lord Combe-Over. Wow, that's a term I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, that's still stuck with me. Lord Combe-Over.
That was coined on Opie and Anthony.
It's an Opie and Anthony thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's back in the old days before they took off on their own, when they were still on that one channel.
They were still on K-Rock, not K-Rock. They were on
101.5. No, I don't know what they.
102.3 classic rock. They were on
Right.
102.3. Oh no, I'm sorry, 104.3. That's what they were on. They were doing afternoons. Howard Stern was doing mornings. It really had the best of both worlds because if you liked Howard Stern, you drove in the morning, you heard him, and then on your commute home, rush hour, you heard Opie and Anthony.
I hated Howard Stern, but I liked Opie and Anthony.
I like both. I always did.
Nah. We're not gonna get into that.
No, we're not.
But
then they fucked up. They did this Sex for Sam, which was for Sam Adams beer. That's why that was called that. And one of their contestants had anal sex in St. Patrick's Cathedral. And I remember that. They got fired for that.
Yeah.
And then they went
because that's the first time there was ever anal sex in the Catholic Church. Oh! Whoa. Did you see that recently in the news about the Pope in Catholic Church and it's still happening anyway.
And so they got fired, and they had to be fired for the length of the contract that they signed. So they had signed, I think, a 3-year deal, and they had only been on the deal for a year. So they had to be fired and couldn't sign a new contract to be anywhere else for 2 years.
Right.
So then they did, and they went to XM Radio. And then that's where the term Lord Comeover was coined.
No. Lord, they did. They talked.
It was on 104.3. It was on Classic Rock.
Because I didn't follow them to XM. I was old school with them because I'm not fucking buying satellite radio.
I followed them to XM.
Yeah, but Lord again, anybody who does the comb over, if they're going bald, there's a severe psychological problem there.
Oh yeah,
severe.
Well, and the thing is, it's not fooling anyone.
Mind.
It's not fooling anyone.
Nobody in their right mind does that. Period.
Well, there are plenty of people that do it.
No, but not in their right mind.
Oh, in their right mind? No.
Nobody in their right mind does that. That's just like
I would just live with a crew cut.
Because you're not insane.
High and tight, as my father-in-law says.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not insane. But anyway, Quick Change.
Yeah, Quick Change. It was a really good movie. Love it.
You know, I mean, it's one of those films, and they even keep the romantic tension from the book in the film, which is Gina Davis's character starts doubting her affection for Bill Murray because he becomes such an aloof character during this whole heist.
High-class bank robber.
But Bill Murray is at his dry wit finest.
Yeah, I know he's great in this.
And I also think that what's his name? Randy Quaid is at probably his most manic best.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah. Nobody should see something like that.
Well, you don't even know colors. Where the hadu? Okay, let me take this. He just points to the passport JFK, and he just gives him the thumbs up. He's like, all right, and then he just leans over again. Where the hadu? And I just love Gina Davis's response. The goddamn airport. Yeah. It's just so good. It is just so good.
Even though it's a comedy and it's not meant to be like serious, they really capture they managed to capture all the exasperation of dealing with anything in the fucking city.
Right.
From like the construction guys when they try to get directions, to the people screaming out fucking windows, to just and it's a little bit of a xenophobic anti-immigrant humor with Tony Shalhoub, but they managed to make it not mean towards him.
No, especially when Jason Robards, when he comes in handcuffed, he goes, "You probably left your country to escape this shit."
Yeah.
And it's such an interesting turn because then, just it's like 28 years ago, Jason Robards' character, he's like, "You probably left your country to escape, things like this." And he's compassionate and he's saying things like that. And now there are a lot of shitty people that would be like, yeah, fuck that guy. Like my neighbor down the street, for instance, they have a pickup truck, and this is my neighbor down the block, and they have a pickup truck, and in like pseudo Arabic writing, it's not Arabic, but it's just like, it's all the squiggly lines. It says, fuck you. That's what it says. And obviously, it's like, oh, if you're Arabic, go fuck yourself. You can't possibly be a good person.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then there's another sticker that says, learn to speak English. That's another sticker that they have.
Dude,
and of course,
and
there's the American flag and a bald eagle, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, and honestly, I said ironically, but that's not even true. In Texas so far,
Yeah.
I don't see any of that shit.
Well, I think you're also in a very progressive area.
All right. Yes, but no. Because we did have neighbors that we met, and they were nice people, but at one point we're talking about the local high school, which is just down the road,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, it was a real nice high school, but then they built this apartment building nearby, and we got all these Katrina survivors. I swear I kept a straight face, but I was like, oh shit, that's the most racist thing I've heard today. But when Nazis came by at 2 a.m. and threw pamphlets at everybody's house, everybody was pissed off, and 2 or 3 people that called the cops on them. I was like, hey, all right. So like, there's like, okay, there's still prejudice, but it's the kind of like, yeah, but we're not fucking Nazis prejudice.
It's select racism.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I can be uncomfortable around black people and still not think they deserve not to vote. There's a line. Come on.
There's a fine line, but there is one.
Yeah. And that's why, like I remember when they announced Crocodile Dundee, that what's his name was doing the son of Crocodile Dundee.
Oh yeah, Danny McBride.
Danny McBride, and there's all these people online saying, "Oh, Crocodile Dundee was a sexist, racist character, and we shouldn't be supporting this." It's like, what the fuck you? What are you talking? And I went back and rewatched the first one with Holly, and there's the scene where they're in the bar, and he's like, and like the cabbie's telling him, "That's a guy. That girl you're talking to is a guy," and he grabs her crotch. He's like, "Hey, that's a dude." It was like, "Oh, that's insensitive to transgender people." So, yeah, or it could be that the guy pretending to be a woman shouldn't be lying to the guy.
Yeah, right.
And also, even beyond that, let's remember it's the fucking 80s. Yeah. And the fact that they didn't beat her to fucking death in the bar right then and there kind of makes a progressive film.
People nowadays.
I mean, this is the same decade where our president ignored AIDS and wouldn't say anything about it because it was considered a gay disease. So Crocodile Dundee being like, "Hey, I don't want to hit on you because you're a guy." Okay, he's from the fucking bayou, but he didn't like punch her, and they didn't drag her out in the back and fucking beat her half to death and leave her stripped hanging over a fucking barbed wire fence.
Yeah,
it just dial the fucking back and consider the time frame, and let's just relax a little bit. I think
the biggest problem with, and this is going to sound, it's going to sound the way it sounds. A lot of people nowadays, they just create memes, and they just create a viral attitude towards waiting to be offended for a lot of things. I'm not saying people can't be offended by things. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But it just seems like
everyone should be offended. I think everyone should be offended.
But
honestly,
but they're the littlest things. There's an outcry created for it.
Well, I think there's a difference between being offended and then trying to create an outcry against something. Like, again, I could watch Crocodile Dundee and be offended when he asked the black limo driver, "Are you with a tribe?"
Yeah, what tribe are you?
And he's like, right. It's like, okay, well, he's from a country where the Aborigines are fucking walking around and he's friends with them. So why don't you dial it back a bit?
Yeah.
But I could be offended by that. But do I want to say that this film's evil and racist? Like, no, because there was a positive message behind everything in the film. And,
there are people that just don't care, and they just follow an agenda. They might genuinely want to follow that agenda, but it just seems kind of petty, and it just seems disingenuous a lot of the times. But
without descending into strangers in a strange land territory, there are people that are going to seek conflict wherever they can, and then there are people going to say, "Listen, we're trying to stop conflict, so let's find a middle ground somewhere." So there's people that are going to say, "Hey, you have to accept everybody the way they are," and then there are people who are like, "I don't have to accept anything that I don't like," and then there's people in the middle like me who are like, "Hey, you know what? I don't have to accept shit, but I also don't have to make everybody bend to my will. So do what you want to do. Just don't ask me to fucking praise it."
Yeah, no,
and
you're right.
You can be for transgender bathrooms and not actually spend the time to learn all the different fucking initials in the LGBTQBL phrase that they keep adding things to it. I am 100% pro transgender, but don't get pissy on me because I like Crocodile Dundee, because it's a different fucking time, and fuck you.
Yeah, they just, a lot of people just think you're insensitive to it if you like, say, like a film because it has that scene in it, and it's the furthest from the truth.
Well, yeah, but again, some people just strive on nothing but conflict. We need to have somebody to hate. So you can be for something or you could be against something. So the people that are for certain things think that they're acting for it when they're really doing is acting against it. It's like, oh, are you for transgender rights or are you against people that don't like it? That's two different things entirely. I am for transgender people being accepted and being allowed to use whatever bathroom they fucking want because who gives a shit? And for not being harassed. I am not against people who don't understand that because that's not they don't have to fucking understand it. No one has to understand my fucking sense of humor. They can not like it and walk away. I don't have to be accepted. I just have to be fucking tolerated.
I tolerate you.
I'm barely both. So
I'm kidding.
I know. Yeah, I know you don't.
You don't. I don't what?
Tolerate me.
Stop.
Dude, you're one of the few left.
I love you, man. And that's the God's honest truth.
You don't I'm already drunk on gin. Don't make me get sappy on you because it'll get fucking sad real quick.
No, let's not do that. Just know that I love you, man.
Dude, I love you too.
Yeah. There's no
seriously, send me a picture of you in that Speedo.
No.
But quick change. I mean, again, quick change. If you're a Bill Murray fan, you've seen it. If you're not a Bill Murray fan or you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's a 1990s film, which, again, like I said, is right around the time that the I Hate New York films died.
Yeah, there was only a few more after this that came out.
But again, that's because that's when Rudy Giuliani just got a stranglehold on the New York Film Commission, and it's just like the military now. It's like, oh, we'll give you free planes and everything, but we need to approve the script so you don't see anything bad about us.
There is one very big. It wasn't a big film, but it's a well-known film that came out after this. That's an I Hate New York, and that might be the really very last one.
Which one?
Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel. I think that came out in '92. It come out in '92.
All right, you know what? It's not a mainstream film though. It was like an Abel Ferrara low-budget underground film, and it wasn't I Hate New York as much as I Hate New York Cops. And really, who's got a problem with that?
Yeah, '92 came out in '92.
And this is '92 when they were like shooting black people left and right. Oh wait, they're still doing that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm sorry, God.
I mean, you still get.
That's one of my favorite scenes in that movie.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
fucking weak.
And dude, I still love the ending of that film.
Great ending.
Fucking perfect ending.
Yeah, we won't reveal that ending, but fucking great.
No, Bad Lieutenant's
one of the very. It's not one of the first, but it's one of the very first few movies that got an NC-17 rating.
Mm-hmm.
The first being Henry and June, which we have talked about on the show.
Right,
Henry and June, the film Horror. This film, that was like the very first 3 movies that got an NC-17.
And one of the films responsible for the NC-17 was Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
That's correct.
Because that was the film where the MPAA said, "Oh, you can't cut anything from this film. We're giving X because of its tone."
It's tone. Fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's why I love that.
And you know what? You could watch that. You could watch Henry. You could watch that on broadcast TV at this point. I mean, it's still fucked up, but there's some other. I've seen more fucked up shit played during the day.
Dude, I was going through my Plex and I forget which film it was, but it was a film in the S's or T's. Okay. And
Siberian
this is from no, it's an older film from the 70s. And their movie poster was the first film to be called Gornography.
Oh God, Gornography.
Right, and I'm like, all right, all you motherfuckers talking about torture porn with Saw and like in like the 2000s, like it was new. just fucking stop your whining. This shit's been around since the 70s, and you have no fucking idea what true torture porn looks like.
That's so true.
Seriously. This shit has a fucking plot. You never watched The Incredible Torture Show. You have no idea what you're fucking talking about. I mean, I'm sorry, Blood-Sucking Freaks, a.k.a. known as The Incredible Torture Show,
right?
Which the initials of is tits, because 70s, you know.
Of course, it's sexploitation.
Right.
Come on, it's the height of it.
I just remember when like Saw was out, it's like, oh, torture porn. It's like, first of all, I was a teenager during the fucking, Evil Dead is the spawn of all evil. And you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about because you haven't gone back to Herschel Gordon Lewis back when he was the spawn of evil. That shit wasn't torture porn? You fucking pansies. Fuck you.
Yeah, no. People suck. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. Except
for the people that listen to our show because they know the truth.
Of course.
Most of you.
Most of you, yes.
Most of you. I'm not going to name any names.
No,
but
don't name any names. That's
no,
okay.
But most of you.
Most of you are awesome.
Now, the cool thing with Plex nowadays, and I think we're
podcasts are now out of beta as of today.
Mm-hmm. So now you can listen to Moviesucktastic on your Plex account.
Yeah, we got to throw that into our.
One thing I'm thinking of doing, I think I want to take my, I want to get audio from our podcasts and put it as an audio track on my movies on my Plex.
Oh, really?
So I can watch the movie with our podcast in the background. I think that'd be great. And if anybody wants a copy of that, I'll send them to it for free.
Because that was something that we were forced to stop doing by YouTube. We're streaming live right now on YouTube.
Right. Now, I also want to mention, did I mention Dead Meat last episode?
Yes, you did.
He had the same problem with YouTube where they stopped one of his films.
Yep. You did mention
and
that.
it was like, and he actually was like freaking out. It's like, what the fuck's this? It's like, dude, welcome to the fucking real world.
Yeah. It's like,
this happens every day.
It's like you're lucky that it took this long. Because he shows clips of the films. That's like his thing. And if you show a long enough clip, the algorithm will fuck you. Like, for instance, and
he usually gets away with it, but that one time.
And he's making money on advertisers. So he could easily.
He's finally doing it full time, and I support him. And you should go watch the Dead Meat broadcast.
Yeah, and the thing is, all it takes is for someone that owns the clip that he's showing to monetize it, and then he doesn't make money off the clip at all. Even though it's fair use, and he's just showing the clip, and there's hardly any sound, and he's just talking over it. They don't give a shit. Like, for instance. This episode will probably get flagged because I showed a 15-second TV spot or VHS.
Which was shitty, by the way.
It was shitty. And I did.
I'm sorry.
It did. I did it on purpose because for this, the only other thing was a 2.5-minute trailer, which I know the video could potentially be taken down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I showed a 1-minute clip of them walking through the back alley with the lady saying flowers for the dead, because that's how the challenge happened for this movie. I figured it was something I wanted to show.
Right.
And we'll probably get flagged for both of those clips, and I'll have to fight it. I guess I should go look at our live stream, just make sure we're actually streaming live.
I'm sure we're fine. Well, but do we have anything else to say about Quick Change? I mean, it's I really find it hard to review a film that we like, and Quick Change also has a very basic plot. Bank heist goes right, but then escaping the bank heist goes wrong. Comedy ensues. There's your plot. There's not much to it. It all has to do with character, dialogue, and situation, all of which in this film fucking nail it. Oh, including a cameo by the now dead SNL star.
Right. Oh, Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman, yeah. Every time I see him in anything now, I just get a fucking tear in my eye.
I know, and it was a double homicide. I mean, it was it was a homicide. Murder-suicide.
Murder-suicide, yeah. Well, yeah. If they're homicide bombers, then it's a double homicide.
It was murder. His wife killed him, and then she killed herself. It's just like, geez.
Because that's the only way a divorce is really going to work out in the end.
I mean, it's like when are they going to make that movie?
Yeah, and they're never going to do a Blasto sequel because of that. I mean, fuck.
Never ever.
Never.
Blast.
No. Well, yeah, Blasto. Come on.
All right.
Now
So
this
we should rate the movie then.
It's 6.8 on IMDb now, which is a fucking travesty.
No, it's low. That's too low.
Way too low.
Let's see. What would I go on this? I would go 8 or 9 on this.
Really? That high? It is a comedy.
I think I would go 8.
I really don't think a comedy deserves more than a 7, though.
Well, this is a really good comedy.
It is, but I mean, it's not like.
Well, let's put it this way. I mean, I already know you're not going to go lower than a 7, but I cannot go lower than a 7 on this.
Me neither. I know 7 is my lowest, but I don't know if I can go 8. I mean, 8. We're talking about genius. This film is great.
No. I think 10, 9 or 10 is genius.
Anything over 7 has to be exceptional. Honestly,
Okay, I'm good with a 7. It can't be lower than that. That's my threshold.
That is. I mean, honestly, when you compare it to other Bruce Willis films, Ghostbusters, I go higher than 7.
Willis.
You know what I mean, Bill Murray.
Bruce.
Bill, I'm actually finally sobering up a bit, so
okay.
That's not good. It's getting late, but
it's getting late. Jesus Christ, you're an hour behind.
I know, but you know, I start work early, so leave me alone.
So do I. Stop with the excuses. 7 it is then. I'm willing to go 7.
I really can't think of a reason to give it an 8. Especially, I mean, it's good, but it has to have something a bit more. I can't.
I get what you're saying.
It's got to be special to go above a 7. For me, 7 is all the films that I love, but aren't really great films. Like it's right in that area there. It was like, oh, this is a great movie that I love, but what I like is it Oscar worthy? I think if it's higher than a 7, it has to be Oscar worthy on some level. Let's put it that way. Between
most
8 and 10,
comedies are never nominated for Oscars, so.
Same thing with most horror films. That's why Get Out is such a fucking revelation.
True.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like anything above a 7, you got to be able to say at least, well, it deserves an Oscar for, and I don't see that for this. I'm sorry. I just, I love the film, but so I'm going to go 7.
7 it is.
Sign in. I'm already fucking signed in. Stop with this shit. God damn you, Facebook.
Facebook? You mean IMDb?
IMDb, whatever the fuck it is. The social... I can't even get into this now. This is just fucking with me. Sign in with Amazon? No. There's like 8 different options to sign in with it now. I don't know which one I'm under. That's it. Moviesucktastic. There we go. Let me rate it. Hang on. Yeah, fucking it's gone now. And now that they've changed everything, I don't know how to fucking look at the demographics. So fuck it. We're done.
We're done. So give me my movie challenge. Let me try and guess it somehow.
All right. I'm what I have up right now is I'm on the T's. I'm redoing my entire Plex again.
Okay.
And I'm on the T's. So I've gone as far as T. And I have a category called New York City. I don't call it I Hate New York anymore.
Okay.
But most of my New York City films are I Hate New York films. Now, a lot of these we've already done. I'll be honest. We've done Gloria.
Yes.
We've done I'm pretty sure we did Frankenhooker.
We did.
We've done Crocodile Dundee.
We did all 3.
Right. We did Offbeat.
We did not do Offbeat.
No, we did Offbeat.
No.
I almost know we did.
I got you your copy of Offbeat, but we never did Offbeat.
Well, I'm not doing that one.
Okay, good.
We did Exterminator.
Both of them, yes.
Right. Now we haven't really done Death Wish, I don't think.
No, we did.
We did.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do the?
We actually reviewed Death Wish and Death Wish.
Oh, that's
3.
right. Because I did the whole thing about the people in the background, the clown hammer guy in the background.
Yeah, which would have been a perfect challenge. Because it's an I Hate New York and there's a clown hammer, but we've already done Death Wish.
Right.
And we did
now,
Death Wish 3, which was my challenge to you, because the villain has that he's losing his hair, but he has the red stripe going right up the middle where his hair is gone.
And he was in Superman 3.
That's right. That's how
right.
how that came
was
about.
The connection.
The connection was that he was in Superman 3 and that it was the third film of a trilogy.
Now, a couple of possibilities is I could do Taxi Driver, but again, another good film. I don't know how much I want to get into that.
You could do DC. No, I was going to say DC Cab, but that's in DC. Never mind.
We also did God Told Me To.
We did God Told Me To as well.
Yeah. I could have your child.
Good.
So we did Chud.
Lynch.
So we really have a lot of New York films we've already done.
We did Chud. Yep.
We even did Maniac Cop.
You're right. We fucking did Maniac Cop.
So I think I'm gonna have to go with Brain Damage.
Oh, Brain Damage. Nice. I like that. That's a good challenge.
That's a great 1980s low budget horror
was that
film.
89 or 90?
1988, actually.
Oh, wow, 88.
Yeah, so 88 Henenlotter film.
That's right. I mean, you could also go. I mean,
that's 2 years before Frankenhooker.
I love the challenge for Brain Damage, but you could also have gone one of the Basket Case films as well.
Honestly, it was a tie between this and Basket Case.
Okay.
But Basket Case, there's a whole series of them. I just want Brain Damage. There's only one. It's special.
Of course.
Also, it has a singing parasite.
Yeah.
So I think the next episode should open with Elmer's tune.
Like, hello there. Just leave everything to me.
See, I'm already loving this challenge.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to rewatch that. I have it on Blu-ray. I haven't rewatched it since I got it.
I was tied between Brain Damage,
right,
Basket Case, or Miss 45.
Ooh, Miss 45. That's a good one too.
That's another great low, but that's the more serious because that's what's his name, not Henenlotter, but that's who's that? Give me the name.
That's not Ferrara, right?
Yeah, it's Ferrara.
It is? Okay.
That's Abel Ferrara.
Okay.
So Abel Ferrara was like the serious 80s underground films,
and
Henenlotter was like the ridiculous 80s underground films.
Tongue in cheek sometimes, but yeah.
Little? No. Ferrara was a little tongue in cheek. Henenlotter was like my tongue's in my fucking ass at this point because it's so far out of my cheek. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm still.
But no, it's good.
I'm actually less drunk than I was an hour ago, so I'm not taking any crap for that.
I'm not going to give you any. Henenlotter.
Oh, I gotta hydrate. All right, Brain Damage.
Brain Damage.
And for the Frank Henenlotter 1988 film, starring nobody.
Actually, don't they have one person that went on, not famous, but went on to do a couple of things?
I don't know. All I know is like if I bring up my cast on Plex, none of them have pictures. I'm sure they've been in stuff, but none of them actually became what you know as people. So
Got it.
But the 1988 film Brain Damage, and I will have screenshots and memes for this one. I tell you.
Oh yeah.
Because I
was
told
supposed
Joey
to get them for Quick Change.
Well, I told Joey, I said, dude, I'm watching Quick Change. I'm looking for any kind of memes or screenshots. And I'm going through. I was like, the movie speaks for itself. I got nothing.
Yeah, I just went and grabbed like 100 or so screen caps and just made a slideshow out of it.
The film, because you know what, bad films are more. I mean, like, fucking Masters of the Universe. It was like I can't stop. It's like every other thing is like, oh, I need a picture of this. I need a picture of fucking this. Just even with just the subtitles, saying, "Oh yeah," Skeletor, like just giving a speech to He-Man is like, "Oh, this is fucking beautiful."
What a curious quartet.
Yeah. So I think Brain Damage, and also I haven't watched Brain Damage in like 20 years. I guarantee that
Yeah, it might be that long for me too. I know Video Armageddon has a great scene from that in it.
It's the blowjob scene, right?
Blowjob scene, yeah.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah. Now that's a scene that was cut out of the original version, but later versions had restored it. And I'm almost positive that the 720p copy I have now has to have that version restored.
Yeah,
Do we know what the runtimes are in that?
The runtime. Yeah. Well, I do know that the Blu-ray that I have, the runtime matches the digital Blu-ray copy that I have.
Hang on, I'm double checking here. 124 minutes.
Is it 84 minutes? Yeah, it's 84 minutes.
84 minutes, yeah. Now my Plex copy is 85 minutes.
I think it just rounded up.
Yeah, now I don't see that's a weird thing though, because again, that was a scene that was cut out later, but IMDb only has one runtime listed. They don't have more than one. So if that was a scene that was cut out at one point, how the fuck is it back in and the runtime's still the same?
Yeah, right? All right, let me see what mine says.
Mine's at 85 minutes.
All right. Bad Boys. Both the film with Will Smith and the one with Sean Penn.
I like the second one better. That's just me.
I like the second one. Let's see. Brain.
They gotta hydrate.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Brain damage. So let's see what we got. Get info. Yep, my copy is the exact runtime is 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 43 seconds.
You have the QMax copy.
Yes, I do.
I have the exact same one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, someone's watching something on my Plex. What are they watching? Somebody is I can't even say that movie aloud.
Oh, really?
Correct.
Give me a hint.
No, because then you're going to say what it is. You're going to say what it is on the show, and
I will not.
And I can't.
I will
can't
not
have that.
I will not say it. Just give me a hint.
Chimichangas.
No. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
3 months from now, it won't matter.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You just gave that one away 10 times over. Anyway.
What?
Yeah. So
I love,
my
I love
challenge is
chimichangas.
brain damage, which again, brain damage, a nice bad film's review, as opposed to a good film.
Yes.
Let's stick on that.
There are going to still be a lot of things we like about the movie, and we're going to gush
Right.
over, but it's still at heart
it's still a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep that in mind, sir. The next time you challenge me a film on Moviesucktastic, I told my wife I fucking hate it when Joey challenges me to a good movie. So what the fuck am I going to do with that? Really? Film was brilliant. Yeah.
Well, I'm not brilliant enough to give it more than a 7.
No, but brilliant enough not to say, "Oh, this part was stupid," or hey, it's more interesting to say, "Hey, this film was like a complete piece of trash." Like, look at Street Trash. Yeah, it's a film about melting homeless people, but it's fucking awesome.
Oh,
See,
you know what other movie you could have challenged me to? Came out right around the same time. Also, an I Hate New York film, or maybe not entirely an I Hate New York film, is the Dabney Coleman film Short Time.
Short Time.
That
Was
probably
that place in New York?
I thought it did.
I don't know. That's one of those films where it could have taken place anywhere.
I don't think
I'd
they
have to look that up.
You know what? I think it takes place in New York, but I don't think it was filmed in New York.
Yeah,
I think it was actually filmed in Canada.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think we've talked about it on the show.
I'm looking that up now too because I have a feeling you're right
came out
on.
in 1990. Came out a couple of months earlier, May of 1990. Now let's see.
It was shot in Canada.
Oh, jeez.
It was shot in Canada.
And
I don't see anywhere where it specifies that he's a New York cop, but it probably is supposed to be.
He's dying and learns that his life insurance pays out more than if he dies, and in the line of duty, he tries to make that happen.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere in the summaries where it specifies he's a New York cop. I mean, that doesn't mean they don't in the film.
Right.
But I'm looking now.
He becomes a super cop.
Yeah, I when I upgrade to the new film editing program that you recommend, I need to start assembling my favorite scenes from all my movies, and still, Short Time, best chase sequence ever.
One of the best.
One of the best,
So
right
good.
up there with right, and that shitty film Body Parts. Again, shitty film.
Yeah.
But if you've never seen it,
With Jeff Fahey.
right. But it's a guy that's like made up of other people's body parts, and like he's hunting down people that had transplants from him, something weird like that. But there's a scene where the cops are in the car and he pulls up and just puts a handcuff on the other guy and takes off. And so you have a chase scene where the other driver is trying to keep up with him so the other guy's arm isn't ripped off his body. That's the whole fucking chase scene, and it's fucking awesome. The rest of the film cheesy as shit, but that one chase scene is like, this is awesome. This is great. I love it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of film we need to review on our show, not a work of fucking art like Quick Change. And if anybody's interested, once again, the novel that it was based on is also called Quick Change, and that is by what's the name again? I have to backtrack
Crowley?
a bit. John Crowley, I think his name is.
Cronley. Cronley.
J. Cronley.
Cronley.
JayCronley. You know what I said. And
Yeah,
he also wrote the novels the film Let It Ride, which is a fucking classic.
Great movie. 89. That one came out in 89.
Right. And I'm not as big a fan of Funny Farm as some people with Chevy Chase, but it's still one of the films where he was actually funny in it.
Hey, what's this book going to be about? It's going to be about 300 pages.
So, I mean, and so far, Quick Change is the only book of his I've read because the movie was based on it. But, you know, I need to get a copy of Let It Ride because I love that film too, and I want to see the differences between the two of them.
Yeah, I think there's supposed to be a longer cut of Let It Ride, but it's not like any kind of a crazy
Really?
cut.
Yeah.
I just think it was what we've always been accustomed to, which is the VHS release of that is a certain runtime, and there's just another run. It's like 5 minutes longer.
Probably stuff they left out for the television version.
Yeah, and we've only ever been accustomed to the VHS version of Let It Ride and whatever they showed on cable.
Quick question for you. Do you have a copy of the American remake of Let the Right One In?
Yes.
What's your runtime? What's your file size on that?
Oh, I think it's a MacGuffin, so I think it's tiny.
Because I can't find a decent size of that because I have the original, but I don't have the American remake, and I want both. You need to send that to me, please.
All right, let me take a look at it real quick.
All right.
Let the Right One In, you said, right?
That's the original. The
So-
American remake is Let Me In.
That's right. That's the one with Chloe Morantz, the girl from...
No idea.
Yeah, it's Chloe Morantz, which is the girl that was in Kick-Ass, that played Hit Girl.
Okay.
She plays the girl that was in Let the Right One In. So this is
again,
Let Me In.
Inferior version, but I still would like a copy.
As far as a remake goes, not bad.
Not bad, but still inferior.
So let's see. Info 2.2 gig, 720p.
Yeah, I need that. Please send that to
MacGuffin.
me via
No
Google Drive. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Yeah, IMDb only has one runtime for Let It Ride listed, 90 minutes. IMDb is like a poor place for information because they really don't give a shit about certain films.
That is true.
It's like, I mean, I really feel like IMDb is like the Wikipedia of film, but they never like acknowledge that.
Right.
That they only have updates when people take the time to edit in there, but there's no one like going through and doing any real research.
Perfect example. 3 O'Clock High. Okay, 3 O'Clock High.
Yes, sir.
I know we're going to end the show, but 3 O'Clock High. Let's see. The runtime listed for that is 101 minutes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The VHS copy is 90 minutes. And it's showing here the runtime. It shows here that there's 2 runtimes, or 3 runtimes. The one at the top, which says 101 minutes. Then at the bottom, it says 90 minutes, which says DVD, but it was also the VHS. And then one that says 97 minutes. And my copy of 3 O'Clock High is, I'll tell you exactly what it is. I believe it's the 97-minute one. So it's like, where is this 101-minute cut of 3 O'Clock High? And where can I get it? Thanks, killing.
3 O'Clock High. I got my copy right here, and my copy is, come on, 89 minutes.
Yours is 89 minutes?
Yeah.
Yep, so is mine. 89 minutes. So why do we have this DVD VHS cut, even though it's the Blu-ray copy of it? Why do we still have this 89-minute cut when apparently there's a 97 or 101-minute cut somewhere?
Here's the deal. This is not uncommon, but if you dial back to the 90s when I was subscribing avidly to like Video Watchdog, that was the time where you would say, okay, here's this Italian horror film, and it's been re-released under 4 different names because people keep buying the rights and releasing on a video. And here are the different runtimes. Like, that's the magazine you go to say, oh, yeah, Last House on the Left. There's like 5 different running times, and most of them depend on the length of the chicken truck scene. Yeah. And that's not a joke. That's for real.
No, I know. I know.
And so that was the old days when all these like low-budget films were the main problem. Then, so fast forward past mom and pop shop, DVD, streaming video, Blu-ray, blah blah blah. We're now in a time frame where the old classic films or old like run-of-the-mill films, they're all been released full length. They're like, oh, with audio commentary because Last Sounds of the Left. Here's the definitive version with audio commentary, and here's like a special feature. But then like the '80s shit, '90s shit, like 3 o'clock high was like, oh yeah. Well, there was the made-for-TV version because they saved stuff out for when stuff was edited, and then that went out, but we didn't keep track of that because it's not fucking Superman, and now no one knows.
Yeah. And
this is the kind of shit that they're going to be digging out 20 years from now in whatever passes for Video Watchdog then, hopefully less snooty. And, it's going to be a never-ending cycle. Our generation is like, oh, wow, we found this uncut copy of Metropolis. 50 years from now, it was like, yeah, did you know there's a 3-hour cut of Bad Grandpa? Yeah. Oh, by the way, I came home today. It's like, yeah, Lilith was upset that you didn't have a copy of Bad Grandpa.
Oh, someone was watching it off of my Plex.
That was us.
Oh, it was you?
And she said, oh, we tried to watch it off of Joey's Plex and it wouldn't run properly. I said, well, first of all, that's probably because 18 people were watching movies off of Joey's Plex. And second of all, if she wants Bad Grandpa, fucking ask me. Because I don't have it on the Plex because I saw it once, but I have no problem throwing it on there. But let's not get like upset that out of the 4,000 films I have, the one Johnny Knoxville film isn't on there.
It always just adjust your bit rate if you have an issue playing a film of mine.
That's what I said. And she's like, well, she doesn't know how to do that. Says, well, she's 18 years old and she called me grandpa the other day because I didn't know how to use fucking Instagram. So maybe she should fucking learn how to adjust the bit rate.
Yeah, you pretty much hit pause and then you hit the gear button and you just adjust the bit rate.
Yeah, 2 days ago, I'm like, I don't know how to get to my personal messages on Instagram. And she says, oh, yeah, technology is the future, Grandpa. So yeah, I remember that. 2 days later, so you couldn't watch Bad Grandpa? Yeah, the technology is the future, bitch. Maybe she'll learn how to fucking use the internet properly.
Yeah. Well, after I get my gigabit connection next week, my upload speed is nearly a gigabit as well. I don't think anyone will have any issues playing anything back. And if you do, it is definitely a bitrate issue on not my end, your end.
As a father with 2 young children that will soon be old enough to be smartasses, please remember this, that at some point they'll chastise you for not knowing how to use a certain social media or internet thing because you don't use it because you're too fucking busy.
I'm sure of it.
Remember that.
I'm going to remember
and the next time they ask you a question about anything, say, you've got a computer in your pocket, learn how to use it.
Okay.
That's it. Shut the fuck up.
Although I might not have that issue being as I'm in IT.
No, you will. Because they'll be using something stupid.
Oh, that I won't care about using?
Yeah, I'm saying. Like, how do you, like, why don't you know how to use, like, because like I said, I don't know how to access my messages on Instagram. It says, oh, the technology is the future. It says, yeah, I'm a fucking adult. I don't send Instagrams to everybody.
Yeah.
I got a fucking life. I'm sorry. The one person I do send them to, I can't find the message for him because I don't use this shit every day. Why don't you use Tumblr? Because I know how to fucking write. That's right, because I don't have to. I don't communicate in pictures, motherfucker.
That's right, motherfucker.
That's right. So lay off.
Lay off.
Oh, blogs are so 90s. Yeah. So is the fucking written word. Shut the fuck up.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
end
the show. We've gone way too long.
Yes, we have.
This was an hour podcast, and it's now a 95-minute podcast.
It's all your fault, by the way.
It is. You know what? And I'm happy that we did go on a tangent because I have fun when we do that.
That's all we do. I don't know what you're talking about.
True. All right.
Last week,
What?
my wife asked me, said, "So how did the review go of Paranormal Activity 2?" I was like, "Oh, it was good." Halfway through, we went on a tangent about something totally unrelated for half an hour, but it was great.
Yeah. I mean, it's
She's
on
like-
YouTube. I haven't been able to put it on iTunes. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get everything that's backlogged.
Dude, I tell you, she doesn't bitch as much anymore about this stuff because she doesn't commute to work at the moment. But when she was commuting, I would hear it like a week after an episode would go up. She's like, "You know what? You two go off on this goddamn tangent, and you come back and talk about the film again, and you don't mention what you're talking about. And I have no idea what film you're fucking talking about." I'm like, "Well, maybe you should pay attention." And then I get slapped.
There you
And
go.
that's the end of the discussion. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway,
Anyhow, this is episode 278.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. We got to end this shit at some point. We got to do it mutually, and we have to figure out when that's going to be.
What, you getting tired of this?
No, I'm just saying we should have...
Then don't talk about it.
What? What?
What are we talking about? We breaking up with me?
No, I'm saying at some point we're not going to do this anymore, and I'm just saying it could be 10 years.
For yourself.
It could be 10 years from now.
Dude, we're going to be in an old folks home podcasting, and you know it.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
I'm all for it.
Because again, based on when I first brought the idea up to you, we're not really podcasting. We're just recording the conversations we have on a regular basis.
Anyway, that is true. We
Thank you.
do this anyway. We're just recording
Yeah,
it for everyone to hear.
Don't throw out shit about stopping the show. Don't fucking start that.
I'm not saying. Hey,
Yeah.
all right. Forget
Yeah,
I brought it
I
up.
do not.
Forget I brought it up.
Already have.
Okay, good. But you're the one that's like episode 278. You're like, oh my god.
Well, it's because I'm just gonna get fucking old. That's all. It has nothing to do with stopping the show. It's just
all right. All right. You can go to our website
No.
at moviesucktastic.com. You can download the show there, listen to the show there. You can now watch the show live again through YouTube and hang
That's
out
right,
with us
baby.
every Thursday at 8 o'clock while we review and just talk about whatever. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic, and you can see anything that we post there, from trailers to when we go live, or anything that just interests us. You can also go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can also leave us email, which we will read on the show, and the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you want to leave us voicemail, the number is 908-514-4470. If you want to download the free Android app for your tablet, phone, whatever device you're using Android-wise, you can use it on your TV, doesn't matter, as long as it's Android, you can download the app for Moviesucktastic, and everything I said is in there, and it is 100% free, so I highly recommend using it. It's how I listen to the podcast in my vehicle. I just use it through Bluetooth, and it is awesome. I download it, and then it just starts playing crystal clear, just as we're talking right now. You can't beat it, because it's a really good app, and it's 100% free. Do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson? Music's fading.
No one should see something like that. No one.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
More or less, yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.